What's up? Hope everybody's having a good college football season so far. 5 years I've been waiting on this weekend, this Georgia Notre Dame game. This game is important to me for a lot of reasons. Most of you that have watched me already know that my entire family is either Ohio State fans or Notre Dame fans. That's not their fault. That's just where they grew up. They grew up in Ohio, and they went to high school in the 70s and 80s when Ohio State and Notre Dame were very, very good. So, this game is personal to me, and it's a big one. This is going to be the most people that have been in Athens probably in the past 15 years. This is going to be a sellout crowd, the most people that have ever been in Sanford Stadium. They're adding seats to this game to allow, I think it's 500 more people than normal. So just a huge game, huge atmosphere, 8 o'clock kick time, and I could not be more excited for this game. The 2017 game lived up to all the hype. It was an incredible game, and I'm just excited. I've been waiting for this game for so long. So let's get into it. This game was scheduled in 2014. I remember where I was at and what I was doing. I was at Chick-fil-A and got on Dog Nation and saw that we had scheduled a home and home with Notre Dame. We were going to go there in 2017, and they were going to come here in 2019, and I was ecstatic. And I think this is good for college football. I think it's good for Georgia. It's good for Notre Dame, too. Nobody wants to watch Georgia blow out these nobody teams like Arkansas State and Murray State and whoever else we played. I mean, those games, they're unwatchable after the first quarter. So I'm excited that we got a big non-conference game that's coming here this time. And Notre Dame's excited too. They've got a lot of players that they recruit out of Atlanta. I was watching the Kirby Smart press conference earlier. He said he runs into a recruiting battle with Notre Dame 2 to 3 times a year in Metro Atlanta. So we bump into them often. Both teams have got a lot of talent. I know that most Georgia fans think that Notre Dame is not a talented team. Since Brian Kelly's been at Notre Dame, they've had a top 10 recruiting class, I think, every year except maybe one. So they've got some talented kids. They had 5 different wide receivers catch touchdown passes last week. So that's a lot of guys to cover. I think it's possible that they could score some points on us. But as you'll see, I don't think this game is going to be close. I think Georgia's going to cover the spread. They opened up as a 12.5 point favorite a couple days ago. I think that goes up. And there's one stat. I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way now that I think is going to define this game. Notre Dame is 120th in the FBS at stopping the run. And everybody in the country knows what Georgia does best is run the ball. So that right there alone, I know that it's a big game. I know that both teams are talented. But under Kirby Smart, this is not a Georgia team that's going to show up to a night game in Sanford Stadium against a top 10 opponent and not look like they're ready to play. That was a huge problem for us under Mark Richt, is we would show up 2 games every season looking like we had no idea what we were doing. That is no longer an issue, and we have the best offensive line in the country. I don't think anybody can deny that. I think DeAndre Swift is the best running back in the country. That's arguable, but DeAndre Swift is incredible. He's an incredible player, athlete. Every time he touches the ball almost, it seems like something special happens. So that right there alone, I don't think that Notre Dame is going to be able to stop Georgia's run game. And I think that we're going to control the clock, control the ball, and wear their defense down. I don't think their offense is going to be on the field enough to keep up with us, and I think that Georgia's defense is going to get some stops. I don't know that Notre Dame's defensive line and their defense can make tackles, for 1-2 yard gains or tackles for loss against our offensive line and our running backs. I do not see that happening. I think that right there is going to be the defining factor in this game. But let's get into a little bit more about this game. Notre Dame is 21-3 since 2017 when they played us. That game to me was a huge turning point for Kirby Smart and this Georgia program. I mean, we went 8-5 the year before. We looked good on defense at times. We did some good things on offense at times, but I wasn't super confident with Kirby Smart in 2016. I mean, we gave that game against Tennessee away. I mean, there were some areas for concerns, but since Kirby has gotten here, we have showed up to play. Our tackling has been improved. Our defense has improved massively. and just the entire culture is more business-like. Like, we handle business now for the most part. We're supposed to show up and look good and play good. For the most part, we do. If we're supposed to blow somebody out, now we blow them out. When under Rick, we were struggling against Vanderbilt and Tennessee and sleepwalking through games. So Kirby Smart, all the Georgia fans need to be excited and thankful to Kirby that he has gotten us to this point. I mean, he's having a hard time going up against an Alabama team that's already been established, against a Clemson team who's had a coach there. He's already established a program. And Kirby Smart, this is his 4th year, so we're really going to start to see what Georgia is going to normally look like under Kirby Smart from here on out. I think we've already seen the norm. A playoff contender, SEC championship is the expectation every single year, especially with the East being down. So all the Georgia fans should be thankful to Kirby Smart for what he's done so far. UGA is ranked number 3. Notre Dame is ranked number 7, the top 10 matchup. Both coaches, I watched both press conferences today. Both coaches respect each other and each other's programs. Brian Kelly, I've got a lot of respect for that guy. I think he's a smart coach, a good coach. I think he relates to his players well. And I think he fits into the culture at Notre Dame really well. Same as for Kirby, is the perfect coach for Georgia. I don't think Kirby will ever leave. I think he's going to retire as Georgia's head coach. I mean, he went to school here. He loves high school football here. He loves Georgia football here. His wife went to Georgia. I mean, he's just the perfect coach for the Dogs. 2017 game was a classic. It lived up to everything that it was supposed to. Jake Fromm, his first start as a true freshman, led us to a win in that game. Did he do anything incredible? No, he did just enough. He did everything that he had to do to win the game. I mean, he made throws when he had to make throws. He didn't have to do too much. We had 2 NFL running backs and a good defense, and that's what got us through that game. Sony Michel had a huge game, just incredible, made some big plays in that game. Roquan Smith, that was the game where I was looking and I was like, Roquan Smith is an elite linebacker. He was making plays all over the field. Lorenzo Carter played incredible. Davin Bellamy played incredible. Like I said, that was really the turning point for this Georgia program and for Kirby Smart. That's where we put our foot in the ground and moved forward with confidence, was after that 2017 Notre Dame game. So, again, this is a huge game. A huge, huge game. I'm expecting Georgia to win. I'm expecting them to cover the spread, at least. At least I'm expecting them to cover the spread. Getting into some stats. Points per game. UGA is averaging 49.3 points per game. Notre Dame's averaging 50.5 points per game. And keep in mind when I'm going through these stats, Notre Dame's only played 2 games. They had a bye second week, and we played 3 games. So in the total yardage and total sacks and everything like that, just keep in mind Notre Dame has only played 2 games. Georgia's opponents are scoring 15 points a game. Georgia's opponents are scoring 7.7 points per game. Notre Dame's opponents are scoring 15 points per game. Rush yards per attempt, Georgia's averaging 7.6 yards per rush. Notre Dame's averaging 4.84 yards per rush. The Dogs are only giving up 2.1 yards a rush. Notre Dame's giving up 4.9 yards per rush. And like I said, I think we're going to be able to run the ball at will, especially late in the game. And I think that's what's going to pull us away. Pass yards, UGA's got 836 total pass yards on the season. Notre Dame's got 627. Yards per play, the Dogs are averaging 8.7 yards per play. Notre Dame's averaging 7.8 yards per play. On third down, which this is critical here, UGA is right at 50% on third down, 48.15%. Notre Dame's only converting 27% of their third downs. I think that with a good Georgia defense, we're going to be able to get stops. They've got playmakers and tall receivers. Texas, they gave us a lot of trouble with their taller receivers, but that is not a good third down percentage there. Georgia's opponents are converting 30% of their third downs. Likewise for Notre Dame. Notre Dame's opponents are converting 30% of their third downs. They haven't played anybody yet. They did not look good in the Louisville game. Last week, they got it cleaned up. They looked a lot better, but they played nobody. We played nobody. I just think Georgia's run game is going to separate us in this game. Red zone success. Georgia's scoring 94% of the time in the red zone. Notre Dame's at 100%. Georgia's opponents in the red zone are only averaging 50% success in the red zone. That's touchdowns and field goals. Notre Dame's opponents are averaging 66% success in the red zone. Sacks. Georgia fans, this season I don't want to hear it. I don't want to have it. The sacks are important. We were dead last in the SEC last year in sacks. It hurt us all season long. I don't want to have to go into a history lesson or explain why sacks are important and why they change games. They absolutely matter. A sack is always more important than affecting the quarterback with a coverage or getting close to him. You can hit him, you can hurt the quarterback, you can cause turnovers and negative yardage. If he gets affected and throws the ball away, they get the ball at the same spot they just had it. Whereas if you get a sack, it pushes them back and then they're in a second and long, third and long situation. So sacks are absolutely important. Dogs, 12 sacks already this year. Much better than last year. I know we haven't played an elite team yet, and we're not really into SEC play yet. I know we played Vanderbilt. That was a cakewalk, and we just did what we had to do to get out of that game without showing anything. Notre Dame's got 4 sacks in 2 games. Georgia's only given up 1 sack this year. That's a credit to our offensive line. And Notre Dame has given up 4 sacks as well to their opponents. Tackles for loss. The Dogs have got 21 tackles for loss. Notre Dame's got 19 through 2 games, so they do a pretty good job making a play behind the line of scrimmage as well. Fumbles games. Dogs have forced 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions. They got a +1 turnover margin. Notre Dame's forced 4 fumbles. They've got 3 interceptions. They've got a +6 turnover margin, so they're really not turning over the ball too much. Like I said, looking into this game, I think Georgia has an elite offensive line, elite quarterback, elite running backs, just across every running back that goes to Georgia is elite. Even Kenny McIntosh, I don't even think he has a scholarship, and that kid is playing unreal. So I could not be happier with Georgia's run game. I think our defense is good. Areas for concern for me in the defense is at middle linebacker. I think Monty Rice and Tay Crowder are good, but after watching Roquan Smith for 2 years, you get used to seeing that kind of production, and you almost come to expect elite play at middle linebacker. And Tay Crowder and Monty Rice just are not at that Roquan Smith level. I think they're good, but they're not sideline to sideline playmakers like Roquan was, and it's just hard to get past that for me mentally when I'm watching the middle linebacker play, because Roquan just made plays. It seemed like every play Roquan was making tackles. So I don't think it's a weakness. I think they've improved from last season, but it is a little bit concerning. We'll see as we get deeper into SEC play and in this game how good these middle linebackers are going to be. On the D-line, I think we have a good defensive line, but I really wish we had that one guy who we could rely on just to be a monster on the D-line and really force some turnovers, force some sacks, force some tackles for loss. I think Georgia right now, it's more by committee than it is one guy on the D-line. So we have missed on a ton of D-line recruits under Kirby. Hopefully that gets rectified and turned around here soon. So I think we're solid on the D-line. I think we're okay at middle linebacker. Outside linebacker, these young guys have got to step up. They've got the talent. They were elite high school recruits. So I'm expecting the outside linebacker play to get better and better and better, and our pass rush to improve more and more and more as the season goes on, as these young guys get more experience, get through SEC play, and get a little bit of confidence, get some sacks under their belts. I don't think we'll have an issue at outside linebacker going forward. And the secondary for Georgia, I think, is elite. J.R. Reed is a very, very good player. He caused Notre Dame all kinds of fits in the 2017 game, and he's played 2 full seasons since then. This is the 3rd season he'll be starting back there for us. Eric Stokes, you saw that he was going to be good towards the end of last year. He looks like he's going to be almost as good as DeAndre Baker, maybe better. I don't know. He looks really, really good in the time that we've seen him play. You don't see him get beat. You don't see him out of position. So it's just a good thing that we got him back there. Tyson Campbell, it looks like he regained his confidence this last season. He got beat like a drum against LSU. Why we let that happen for so long in that game made no sense to me, and I think that game really broke his confidence. It looks like he's got it back, and it looks like he's playing fast and aggressive. So I'm really happy with Tyson Campbell as well. And we got a lot of depth on our defense. I think Notre Dame is going to have a hard time late in this game because of how many guys we can rotate on the D-line, at our linebacker positions, and in the secondary, we're solid. We've got guys behind our starters that can come in and play in different packages. So I just think Notre Dame, I think they have a good team. I do think that they have a top 10 team. I think they have a really, really good offense. But defensively, if they can't stop our run, that's the ball game right there. I've looked for ways that Notre Dame could win this game, and I can't find any. I don't think that Georgia's going to show up to this game unprepared. I don't think that we're going to make a lot of errors in this game. Kirby's going to have them ready. The fans are going to be wild and drunk. It's an 8 o'clock kick time. It's a blackout for the fans. Whether or not we wear black or not, I really don't care. I'm tired of it. We should just pick one game a year that we wear the jerseys. Announce it 3 years out so it's not a big deal and just wear them. Or don't say anything and just wear them. Carolina wears black all the time. Kentucky wore black against us last year. It's not a big deal at those schools because Kentucky and Carolina don't make it a big deal. Georgia fans and the coaches and the whole program make this whole blackout thing more than it has to be. It's cool. It helps with recruiting. Wear them once a year. Wear them if you go to an indoor bowl game or something like that and be done with it. As long as you put out there, hey, we're wearing black at this time, it's not going to be a big deal whether it's just over if you do that. So why we haven't done that already, it doesn't make any sense to me. No, it just doesn't make any sense at all. What else? I mean, Notre Dame, they're going to have it rough. I mean, I just think it might be close in the first and second quarters. I think in the second half, Georgia's a second half team. I think that we pull away. I think that we've got poise that if they do score on us early, that we make adjustments at halftime and shut them down in the second half. I really think that's how this game is going to go. So this video, I just wanted to kind of give you all some stats, let you know what I thought about the game. Saturday morning, probably a little bit before game day starts or right when game day starts, I'll come out with another video giving a score prediction and everything like that. I got to think some more about it, but I think we cover the spread, and I think we win, and I think we win big and convincingly. This is a chance for Georgia to make a statement. You got a top 10 team coming into your house at night. The whole country is going to be watching this game. So just go out there, handle business, and play your game. Play fast, physical, aggressive SEC football. I mean, you got the whole SEC relying on you right now to beat a good Notre Dame team that's coming down to the South for the first time in a long time. I think they played Clemson a few years ago in a close game, and they played Clemson tough when Clemson had a good game, a good team. So they have traveled down south and played Clemson, played Florida State. They've played us. They played Bama. And they haven't won any of these games. I think this game is a must-win for Brian Kelly going forward. He's dropped a lot of big games against top 10 teams. He's won a few as well, but not against teams from the South. So I think he has to rectify that. But he knows what he's coming into. His press conference earlier, he said this is the best defense I've ever gone against, and Kirby Smart, the best defensive mind in football. And I agree with him. I'm having a hard time finding ways that Notre Dame can keep this game close. So that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think in the comments section. I'll do a Facebook Live and probably YouTube video at the same time Saturday morning. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen. Go Dogs, and everybody have a good week.